Ukraine's army of drones are pummeling Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces on the battlefield, a Ukrainian government official said. Between September 18 and Monday, Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles hit a record 205 pieces of Russian military equipment as the war against Russia's invasion rages on, according to Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation Mikhailo Fedorov. Our soldiers keep moving forward and Russians keep losing their equipment, Fedorov said in a tweet on Monday. According to data shared by Fedorov, Ukraine's drone fleet destroyed 64 Russian cannons, 27 tanks, 55 trucks, and 38 armored combat vehicles last week alone. Ukrainian drones also struck 68 Russian troops, according to that data. Powerful results. More to come, Fedorov added. As Russia's 19-month-long invasion of Ukraine grinds on, Kyiv is hoping its counteroffensive will reclaim Russian-occupied territory in the east and south of the Eastern European country. Ukraine launched its counteroffensive in June, though progress has been slow. Fedorov said that Ukraine is dedicated to building a cutting-edge army of drones, according to a report published by the Associated Press on Monday, which noted that Ukraine has already trained more than 10,000 new drone pilots this year. A new stage of the war will soon begin, Fedorov said, according to the AP. A newly surfaced aerial video from the war in Ukraine captured by a drone shows what appears to be inflatable decoys of Russian tanks on the battlefield. Both sides have found plenty of ways to employ inflatable decoys, wooden knockoffs, and deceptive lookalikes throughout the war, often as a cunning trick to draw enemy fire, forcing them to waste ammunition, as well as potentially give away their position. On Monday, a video apparently filmed by a Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicle surfaced online showing what OSINT accounts and bloggers identified as mock Russian T-72s near the front in Zaporizhia. Insider could not independently verify the details of the video, including when and where it was shot. In the video, the drone spots 3 fake tanks positioned in the area, some covered in vines and shrubbery, possibly for camouflage, though Russia sometimes doesn't do that very well for its manned assets. While 2 potential decoy T-72s are hidden near tree cover, one is out in the open. The video was initially posted on Telegram by a group warning Ukrainian forces to be careful, and urging them to not spend the ammunition in vain. There are more and more of them on the battlefield now, the group said of the inflatable weapons. It is unclear, exactly, how extensively these are used. The use of decoys to deceive enemy forces, prompting them to waste valuable and expensive weaponry trying to take out cheap and expendable fakes, is a long-practiced war tactic, and this newly emerged video apparently offers a good look at Russian military deception tactics, or maskirovka masking. There have been many documented cases throughout the war, including inflatable, but sort of deflated, tanks in Zaporizhia earlier this year, fake MiG-31 fighter jets, and decoy S-300 missile systems. Even before the war, Moscow prioritized the development of rather uncanny stand-ins, even entire radar stations, that can be inflated and transported quickly on the battlefield, deceiving enemy forces. Ukraine, too, has made the enemy do a double take with fakes and phonies. Last August, Kyiv's forces employed decoy US-provided high-mobility artillery systems that tricked Russian forces into wasting valuable cruise missiles to the point where Moscow was boasting they'd destroyed more HIMARS than the US had actually given to Ukraine. And more recently, the Ukrainians were building fake howitzers out of sewer pipes to get the Russians to lob drones at them. And there have been plenty of other fakes. Russian President Vladimir Putin may be losing patience with long-serving Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, according to the latest bulletin from the Institute for the Study of War, as Moscow's forces struggle to contain Ukraine's grinding counteroffensive in the southeast of the country. ISW's Sunday bulletin cited reporting from the Kremlin's Secrets Telegram channel suggesting Putin has set Shoigu a deadline by which he must stop the Ukrainian counteroffensive, which is now reportedly pushing to exploit significant gaps forced in Russian defensive lines in fierce fighting underway since early June. A Kremlin insider source claimed that Putin reportedly gave Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu a deadline of 1 month until early October 2023 to improve the situation on the front lines, stop Ukrainian counter-offensives, and have Russian forces regain the initiative to launch an offensive operation against a larger city, ISW wrote. The insider's claim, if true, may indicate that the Russian military command may be ordering relentless counterattacks in hopes of forcing the Ukrainian counter-offensive to culminate, even at a high cost to Russian military capabilities, it said. The Russian resistance to ceding ground may also be tied to Russian military commanders' and officials' attempts to use the counter-offensive to achieve political goals, or it could result from Putin's micromanagement, the bulletin added. The Kremlin Secret's Telegram channel even suggested that Putin is lining up a replacement for Shoigu in the form of airborne commander Colonel General Mikhail Teplinsky. This may have already set off another internecine struggle, ISW wrote. Russian insider sources and millbloggers who have advocated for Teplinsky claimed that Shoigu has been focusing on setting conditions to convince Putin to remove Teplinsky from command, which would likely be achievable if Shoigu is able to achieve Putin's objectives during the counter-offensive, the bulletin said. One pro-Teplinsky channel even claimed that Chief of the Russian General Staff Army General Valery Gerasimov had already removed Teplinsky from overseeing the defensive operation in southern Ukraine, although ISW cannot confirm the validity of this claim at this time, it said. Newsweek has contacted the Russian Defense Ministry by email to request comment. The consistently underwhelming performance of Russia's ground forces has been humiliating for the Kremlin and the Defense Ministry. Since the collapse of the northern invasion force on the outskirts of Kyiv, Russia's supposedly formidable army has repeatedly been forced into major retreats by Ukrainian offensives. Russian offensives, meanwhile, have achieved little at high cost. Elite units are thought to have suffered severe casualties, with mass mobilization required to bolster the ranks and continue the war. But despite all its failings, the Russian army still holds a significant swath of southern Ukraine which is strategically vital. Ukraine's ongoing counteroffensive is seeking to sever, or at least make untenable, this land corridor connecting occupied Crimea to western Russia. The operation started later than planned and has proceeded slower than hoped. The General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on September 25 that Russia had lost 276,270 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes 420 casualties Russian forces suffered just over the past day.